Hello, welcome to the second Rethé session on data and research ethics. I'm Elaine Nsoesie, a native of Cameroon and a professor at the Boston University School of Public Health. We will cover data sharing policies, conflict of interest, and research work. Check your journal's data sharing policies before submission. Some journals might require or suggest that you upload your data to a publicly accessible repository that other researchers can access. Conflict of interest is another important ethical issue. A conflict of interest is any consideration that could compromise a researcher's ability to be objective or affect their judgment. Bias could be conscious or unconscious, and conflicts of interest might also give the perception of bias, even if it does not exist. It is therefore important to disclose any conflicts of interest and put appropriate measures in place to remove the possibility of bias. For example, you could have someone without a conflict of interest double-check your research data, your methods, and interpretation of your findings. You could also make your data and code public. You can easily find examples of conflict of interest on the internet. For example, these could include conflicts associated with financial gain, such as doing research that could benefit a company that you have received grant money from, doing research for a company that you or a relative own shares in, accepting gifts from a student in your class, accepting favors or travel support from a company sponsoring your research, etc., etc. Can you think of a few examples of potential conflicts of interest? There are different types of research fraud. Examples of fabrication, which involves creating false data or results. Falsification is another example. It means that you manipulate a part of your research process to achieve specific results. Researchers have manipulated data, images, etc. It's important to keep all versions of the data that you use in your research. It's important to present your data as it is and to visualize data in a manner that correctly communicates what's included in the data. Slicing fraud is another example of research fraud. It involves taking a research project that should be published in one paper and creating many papers. The papers are slices of the same thing because the research question, participants, and methods are all the same. When submitting to a journal, you are usually asked to attest to the fact that you only submit to one journal at a time. If your paper is rejected, you can submit to another journal for publication. Remember to cite any text that you copied from one of your published papers. Also, if you would like to translate your paper from English to Zulu, for example, and publish in another venue, you should seek permission from the original publisher. Let's look at a few examples. In 2023, the president of Stanford University, a top university in the US, resigned after he was accused of data falsification. Although he was cleared and was not involved in falsifying the data, the review panel found that he did not properly oversee the members of his team who were responsible for the scientific misconduct. In another example, scientists at Harvard-affiliated hospitals had to retract already published studies because they were accused of image duplication and other discrepancies in their publications. In the third example, an ecologist at McMaster University was accused of falsifying and fabricating data. The papers the researcher had published were retracted. These are just 3 examples of many. The internet is unforgiving. Anyone can find these articles online, which means it can impact the careers of these researchers for a very long time. Let's see how much you have learned in this session. The first practice question is, you're working on a paper, but your results are different from the results of a previous study. You're using the same data and methods. What should you do? A. Copy the results from the other study. B. Change your findings slightly to make it more similar to the previous study. C. Contact the authors of the other study to discuss the disparities. The correct answer is C. Contact the authors of the other study to discuss disparities. Next question. You recently finished your first study and you feel behind because you don't have any other research published. The study has one major finding, but it is possible to split it into multiple publications. Is this ethical? A. Yes. B. No. C. I don't know. The correct answer is B. No. You've written a paper in English and submitted it to a journal for publication. The journal reviews and accepts your paper. Is it ethical to submit the same paper in French to another journal? It would lengthen your resume. A. Yes. B. No. C. I don't know. The right answer is B. No. You've been working hard on the paper, but you're not getting the results you expected. The accuracy of your method is 88.7%, and you were hoping for 90%. Is it ethical to report 90%? A. Yes. B. No. C. I don't know. The correct answer is B. No. The company your wife works for recently created a new mango beverage. They would like you, as a researcher, to study the benefits of the beverage. Is this considered a conflict of interest? A. Yes. B. No. C. I don't know. The correct answer is A. Yes. Which of these would be considered a conflict of interest? A. You run a company that would benefit from your research. B. You're asked to review a manuscript submitted by a collaborator. C. Your spouse is working for the company commissioning the research. D. A stock you own may benefit from what you publish. E. All of the above. E. All of the above is the correct answer. You've been unable to finish an analysis before the Data Science Africa workshop submission deadline. You and your colleague have an idea about what the results should be and plan to finish the analysis after the conference. What should you do? A. Submit the paper with the incomplete analysis. B. Submit the paper with made-up findings based on what you expect the analysis to produce. C. Do not submit the paper. The correct answers are A and C. Submit the paper with the incomplete analysis if the workshop accepts incomplete papers. Thank you for participating in this session. To learn more about Rethé, please visit our website.